two guys who don't know anything about anime. This is Anime for Amateurs.
Hello, and welcome back to Anime for Amateurs. I'm Spencer.
I'm Josh.
And your favorite duo is back for another wonderful episode of a show we know by now you love and cherish. Last week we did One Punch Man, and today we are moving on to Sword Art Online. Josh, you want to tell the folks what this one's about?
Yes, indeed, Spencer. So this week we're covering Sword Art Online on Anime for Amateurs, and Sword Art Online is a pretty unique plot. What we have going on here is the story of Kazuto and Asuno, and they are playing a bunch of various VR MMORPG, which is virtual reality, massive multiplayer online role-playing games, basically like Fortnite, PUBG type thing. This is in the not-too-distant future, based on a light novel by, who's the author? Reiki Kawahara. And light novels are, I guess, the anime version of like a young adult series thing. So this is kind of geared more for teens, that sort of thing. But yeah, so I have no idea outside of the basic plot what we're getting into here, but it sounds pretty interesting.
Yeah, and another anime based off a comic book series, or would you say manga?
Yeah, that's right. Which is a pretty common theme. Yeah. So far,
again, this is Anime for Amateurs.
That's right.
Okay?
That's right. Yeah, so far everything we've done has been based off of either a manga or a webcomic, and I'm assuming that's a trend that's going to keep going. I think most of these things are done in book form first, and then someone adapts them to TV. Actually, this one, just a little trivia tidbit here, is supposedly getting adapted for a live action adaptation for Netflix. So I'm sure true anime heads are up in arms about that. I don't know what's the upside to taking something that's built for the medium of anime and making it live action. I don't get it, but if they pull it off, could be cool.
Yeah, and from what I know so far, that hasn't worked out well for the anime community. We're talking the Dragon Ball movie that came out years ago, which was dreadful.
That's right.
And then the Avatar movie that came out that was dreadful.
Yeah, people did not like that one.
Yeah, so far, I mean, I'm sure there are ones that worked out. I don't know. But hopefully this one does better than its predecessors.
Yeah.
But again, this is Anime for Amateurs, brought to you by theholygoof.com. If you want to check out our One Punch Man and Hunter x Hunter reviews, please go to our YouTube page. We would love to see your comments. Please subscribe, all that jazz. Really excited to jump into this. I think this is going to be very different than the other two that we reviewed before. I'm pretty sure of that, actually. But excited for it.
Yeah. Yeah, all right, man. Well, let's not waste any more time. We're going to do a whole rating system, but we'll tell you about that after we watch it. So let's just go ahead and get into it.
Let's do it.
This is the part where the guys sit back and watch an anime, but we play it fast because of copyright.
All right, so that was Sword Art Online. That was pretty wild.
Very good. Wasn't expecting that. Really fun watch. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did. Frankly.
Yeah, me either. Obviously, we don't know what we're getting into going into these. We don't, we're not a big part of the anime community or anything, so we don't know anything about these. But yeah, I kind of was expecting this one to not be as good either, just based off the poster art. But that was pretty rad. I liked it.
Yes, yeah, strictly based off the poster art. I think was, don't judge a book by its cover, don't they say?
Yeah, and don't judge an anime by its poster art.
Don't judge an anime by its poster art.
Yeah, the old adage.
But yeah, that was a really fun 22 minutes or so.
Yeah, went quick.
Yeah, it did. That was, I think, honestly, like that was, I guess aside from One Punch Man, we've only done 2 of these, but I think that was the quickest mental view that we've had. I mean, it was over before it started, kind of
Yeah,
thing.
definitely.
But just to recap, you guys, if you've never seen this show, we watch the animes, of course, and then we categorize them and rate them based on animation, characters, plot, and watchability. So let's start this one. Let's go right into it. Animation. What do you think,
Okay.
Josh?
Well, I'll be honest. This one.
Animation.
Now I have to animate that. But no, actually, at first I was gonna rate it really low because there were a couple key things I saw that take points off for me in any type of animation, which was a lot of still frames, not just in background shots, but there were some where even the principal characters were completely frozen. It was just a still frame, kind of lazy animating. And actually, there was one frame specifically that I saw at least twice where it was like those dragons flying through the sky. I definitely saw them on screen at least twice. And a similar thing with the bells. They did that a few times. So, you know, it's hard to animate things. I get people are working under a budget. But that's normally a little bit of points off for me. I will say at the end, it saved itself in the very last bit of the episode.
I was thinking that same thing. It's
right?
crazy.
The combat animation was really cool. Like, really cool. They switched from 2D to 3D, which definitely took it up to the next level for me. And, of course, they dropped that right before they dropped the credits. So I'm like, damn. I think this one is going to suffer based off the fact that we only watched one episode, because it probably... I think there's probably a lot more combat coming up, and I think that's where this show probably really shines, if I have to base that off the first episode. So all of that is a very long-winded way to say I would probably... I'm probably going to give this a 3 out of 5 for animation.
So yeah, animation. I agree. It did start off slow looking. It kind of didn't give you anything you hadn't seen before. I was looking at it like, okay, this might be a 2. But then towards the end, I started noticing the background, and I feel like you have to focus on that with this one. The clouds are moving in the background, and even though the characters are in the front, there's things going on in the back that you have to pay attention to that are really beautiful.
Yeah, that's true.
Based on just the scenery. I guess the scenery is kind of it's really pretty. So, but like, and then you mentioned the action scenes. Yeah, the animation, the 3D animation on that was pretty cool too. I'm gonna go with a 4.
Okay.
4 out of 5. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. I mean, I think there's gonna be more to come with this one, and I just really appreciated what they did with the scenery.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 4.
Cool. All right. So what do we have next? I guess we have characters next.
Yeah, let's get into characters.
Okay. Tell me your thoughts.
Kirito.
Yeah.
This is our protagonist, and he seems like a pretty enthusiastic fellow. He beta tested the game before, so he has a lot of experience. I forget the name of the guy he meets.
Klein.
Klein?
Yeah, I believe that was his name, yeah.
Yeah, so he meets up with this noob, and he's teaching him the ropes of this game, and he seems like a pretty, a pretty genuine guy. I mean, he's dedicated to beating this game, and you know, of course, maybe we get some more backstory in it. It's pretty cool to see how people make themselves look in a game compared to real life.
Son of a, you're a guy? You're not 17. Wait.
With him, it wasn't as drastic as some people would make them. He was just kind of shorter with shorter hair, right? Skinnier.
Yeah.
It wasn't that dramatic. He wasn't like a woman or a man.
Right.
Yeah, which shows that he's probably pretty true to himself.
Yeah.
And you know, we only really got 2 characters in this, and then of course the bad guy, I think. But right now, I mean, I don't know much, so for now, let's give it a 2 out of 5.
2 out of 5 for the characters?
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, I know more about Saitama, I think, than I know about this guy.
That's true.
From One Punch Man, yeah.
we didn't get into character development a lot at all in the first episode. It kind of moved pretty quickly. It's funny. I really like the main character, despite the fact that there's not a lot of what do they call it? Exposition. You know, like there's not a lot into his backstory or anything. All you know is that he bought this game, and like you said, he got to beta test it 1st, and he's a little bit of an expert. Yeah, they didn't get too much into his backstory. I still like him though. Like you said, he's pretty honest. Like there were a couple times where he just says his feelings right off the bat. That was pretty cool.
Right.
I think the standout character for me was the game master, the villain. It's a cool motivation. He's kind of like a Jigsaw from Saw type of villain.
Oh,
you know?
totally a Jigsaw.
Right?
Good point.
Where he just wants to play God and mess with people. So,
Do you want to play a game?
Right. So yeah, it didn't do much for me either. I'm gonna give the characters 3 out of 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's move on to plot, which I think this is the strength of this this anime.
Totally.
We jump right into plot. Like this is it. We're in this game. The new game came out. Everyone wants to play it. This is a long-awaited kind of release. We get right into the world, and you know the whole premise is people are virtual reality, jump right into this game, and try to beat it. But then the plot thickens when you find out you can't leave it, and if you die, you die. In reality, your brain kind of turns into mush.
Yeah.
So well that makes it a little bit more challenging. So yeah, this is a great plot. We've seen it in some things before. It's kind of like the Avatar thing. They do have that kind of storyline in Hunter x Hunter too. If you watch that, let us know. But this is a really enjoyable plot line that I think people have been working on more loosely in modern day with this virtual reality aspect of the world. And if you can be be in a video game, which is cool. They have the little sim logo. I noticed a little gem floating.
Yeah, that's right.
A little sim shout out there. But this plot, I'm gonna give it a 4.
Cool. Yeah, I totally agree. Actually, out of the 3 we've seen so far, this plot was definitely the most engaging. Like this one to me, I actually was getting pretty immersed in just the idea of, because this concept is not too far off. And like you say, a lot of stuff now is exploring this idea of virtual reality and kind of being in an immersive world. And of course it exists in real life. People are playing, massive multiplayer online games in virtual reality currently. That's something that is happening currently. So it's not too far off. And then the idea of the game malfunctioning, or whether intentionally or unintentionally, and then you being stuck inside that virtual reality, not being able to log out, that was genuinely starting to freak me out a little bit. Like the thought, like imagining being in that space was starting to give me like a little bit of like that horror movie vibe a little bit. It kind of has like a thriller. Agita. Yeah, I was getting a little anime agita. But yeah, I'm gonna give the plot a 5 out of 5. I love this plot. I think it's it kind of played out like a Black Mirror episode almost. You know what I mean? It has the setup for like a really cool, that I could just see a lot of stuff happening. A lot of really cool stuff happening.
Yeah, which brings us right into watchability. We can see a lot of transition. We can see a lot of things happening in this one. I'm excited to follow our protagonist throughout this world as he learns more. He has a little bit of a one-step lead over the other people in the game because he beta tested it. He knows what he's doing. So maybe to get to that level 100, maybe he can jump right to 20, and more quickly than others. And we'll figure out what he's doing. Also, we have the concept of this creator. What other challenges is he going to pose to these players? And I'm sure there's going to be plenty. And then also, what is his real motive? I mean, obviously, it seemed like he just wanted to play God. But
there's 2 things that I wanted to see play out, and you just touched on both of them. The first one is, yes, he's a beta tester, so he's going to be better at it than other people. But there were 1,000 other beta testers, so there's other people in that world, so that are going to be a little more like, not noobs at all, a little bit better players. When's he going to run into them? What's that going to look like? That's probably going to be his biggest threat outside of the game. And then second of all, yeah, the Game Master. There's a whole secondary plot going on where I'm wondering what's happening in the real world with the Game Master. How is he now hiding from authorities? How, you know what I mean?
Yes.
There's a couple things that I can't wait to see play out.
Yeah, because there's a lot of scenarios in this that don't make sense to us yet. Like, there's people in the real life, if you can't take off their helmets, and I think over 200 people died.
Yeah.
But how would the people in real life know that they couldn't take off their helmet? So, I mean, a lot of people would die. I feel like the majority of people, unless they lived alone or totally isolated, would die because their friends and family members would be like, this guy's been playing this game for 3 weeks. Let's take this helmet off of him and wake him up. Right. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
But maybe they explain that, maybe they don't. But
well, that kind of adds to the character of the Game Master, though. He's kind of really sick.
Sadistic.
He was banking, like he didn't warn anyone, don't take the helmets off. He just waited until people died. And then he figured the news will let everyone else know. I'll be left with enough players to mess with.
Yes. And then also, like you mentioned, like are people looking for him? Where is he? Is he in the game? Can he take the helmet off? All this stuff. Yeah. So that being said, watchability is a 5 for me. I mean, there are just so many answers that need to be explained.
Yeah.
So many questions left unanswered.
Yeah.
Just want to know what's going to happen. So yeah, this is a clear 5 for me.
Yeah, I'm going to totally agree with you. It was a little bit of a slow start, but once it picked up and the plot was established, it's like now there's just all this room for things to happen. So yeah, that's a 5 for me also. All right, so I've been crunching the numbers over here.
Yeah.
And if my calculations are correct.
Oh, calculations.
We have Sword Art Online coming in at 15.5 out of 20.
Oh my goodness.
Tying up with One Punch Man.
Tying up with One Punch Man. Hunter x Hunter still in the lead.
Still in the lead.
Anyone
but you know why? I can break down exactly why Hunter x Hunter's leading. Hunter x Hunter beat One Punch Man out for plot, and it beat Sword Art Online out for animation. So that's that little bit of edge that's keeping it at the front of the pack right now. But
yeah,
solid show. We've got 3 under our belt at this point, and they're 3 really solid shows.
Really solid shows.
I'm not expecting
by Krissa.
this.
Shout out to Krissa.
Yep. Thank you for compiling that list.
Spot on.
And if you haven't checked out that list, if you haven't checked out that list, go ahead to theholygoof.com. Check out Top 10 Anime for Amateurs. And we've got tons of cool lists and stuff on there, tons of great other video series, so definitely get over there and check that out. Check out the first 2 episodes of this. Tons of fun stuff. A little something for everybody.
Please check out the Holy Goof. Next time on Anime for Amateurs, we are going to be doing Soul Eater, which sounds pretty dramatic.
It does.
I think the most dramatic title of the bunch. So
yeah, definitely.
Stay tuned for that. We're gonna come at you with another review. Thank you so much for watching again. This has been Anime for Amateurs.
Peace.